everybody, and we're back with the next game. How you doing, Forecourt? You feeling any better?
Oh, I'm feeling fantastic. Definitely a little bit better than Fire Mountain Orange, as they have now been locked out of the qualifier. But of course, we do have 4 qualifiers. Top 2 from each one will go into the main bracket, so they do have multiple chances to get back into that. And we have our next game, and it is going to be a doozy.
Yeah, between Serious Bees Knees and Maple Gaming.
Yes, indeed.
Another 2 brand new names that we've never heard of before, but
Undiscovered talent. I like to think of them like that.
I like that idea too, and I think that that's the main idea here. When we have all these brand new teams getting onto the scene in the biggest tournament we've had to date, having this new talent come forward and not having it be restricted on that is, I think, a really good idea. So let's go ahead and talk about this. As we know, this is on Aiguillon. We've got on one team, we've got Lone Star, Raylan, and Leon for Serious Bees Knees. And on Maple Game, we got Leon, Coco, and Clunk. So what do you think of these teams, Jester?
Well, I'm a man after a Coco's heart. Like, I've been doing Coco since season 2, I want to say, like rank 2, season 2, almost repeatedly ad infinitum. Oh, that's a lie. I got like season 4 once, or a League 4 once. But love Coco. I love the burst. I love the ball. And at the same time, it was one of those big visual changes that we saw. Now you can't, insta blow up a lot of creeps with him anymore. You can't, like, it's only ball damage against heroes, or knots, I should say. But at the same time, like, you can really do some interesting combo things with a knockback. You can get the Heavenly Blaze. You can just go for auto attack builds as well, with just split push. I'm very interested to see what we're going to see with the Clunk and that Leon, because again, that's a really big wombo combo again.
It is a wombo combo, coupled with Leon's tongue. Don't forget, that stuff pulls people right in. Yeah, that was charming. But yeah, you can always pull bad guys into the Clunk, and then that's game over there. Then on the other team, we've got Raylan, Leon, and Lone Star. So Lone Star, always a good pick. It doesn't matter. But Leon and Raylan, an interesting combo. It's harder to pull off because tonguing people into Rift is a little bit more specific than tonguing people into a moving explosion or a lightning ball. But there are definitely some options there. As we move into this game between Serious Bees Knees and Maple Gaming on Aiguillon.
Yeah, all right, so once again, with the Lone Star on the Aguilon, we are going to have a lot of possibilities here for the splits. We could go for big wombos. Leon's on both sides is I'm really kind of hesitant to call which way. It really kind of comes down to the items. And as we saw last game, we had double Clunk, and both of them went different builds. This is a game where you're not really pegged into one item build, and now with the in-game shop, and it wasn't always the case, you do have a lot of flexibility.
Maple Brainsy taking a little bit of damage from the snipe, but other than that, seems to be fine, unless if Kavak gets a bit greedy, and then we're going to be good to go.
There we go.
So all things considered right now, game picking up. Oh, Maple Mamba taking a bunch of damage from Kavak, but Kavak's gonna have to run away as Maple Mamba puts out the explode, saying, "Hey, back off," and he's gonna be able to get away just fine. Madface was probably looking for a snipe, but no snipe gonna happen there as Maple Bainsy manages to protect his teammate just fine. As we get into this so far, no first blood. Items picked up. We've got all base abilities practically everywhere. Boots and Piggy Bank on 3 members, both Leons, and the Clunk on Maple's team, on the Maple Gaming team here, picking that up. And that's always a fun way to start. Coco opting not to go for both base abilities and instead going for Lightning Ball and going straight for the damage.
Yeah, so the extra damage, that's going to be great if she can land it, but, she does have Invis to deal with. There's going to be Bulls in the mix and then time rifts. It's not always going to be a clear-cut case, but if she does close the distance and basically throws it right into your face, I personally like to go with the Blaze as well because, again, you got a Leon in this one. Invis is going to be coming out. We also got the Aguilon Invis in general, so always trying to keep down people with the speed. Also keeps ticking damage on top of those stealths, so you do know where they are. A bit more of a fan of that, but with that extra damage, if she can combo that as well, as I said, this could be a big wombo combo comp.
Absolutely. And in both cases, I think that with the Leon, they're aiming for that wombo combo, but in comes the Lone Star with the Bull, and if the Bull didn't do it, the Dynamite certainly did. Maple Mamba looking to run as fast as he can. Madface not getting out the time rift that he necessarily wanted there to stop that from happening. Now we've got the Coco going in. Bainsy not going to end up dying at all. It seems like no one's going to capitalize or try to work towards an opportunity. Kavak going invisible, and everybody here knows that he is invisible, so they're going to take it easy. Bainsy probably going to go home and heal at this point. Red team now pushing in this top turret, something that he can easily do with a Lone Star. He's got Bull, he's got Dynamite. That's a lot of damage that he can do very, very quickly to a tower.
Yeah, and look at that bull. The power of the Lone Star is already coming out. Not only was that a first transition into a first blood on bottom, but again, pushing around Maple Mamba. He did get the invis though, so an invis, well, okay, maybe not into a laser, but an invis bite into an explode. That's definitely a very powerful tool that you want to be putting on those big bursters like the Clunk here. But with that first blood, we did see some top tower damage going down. And again, Lone Star, he's really putting a lot of effort up here. Raylan is again clearing out the creeps as well, and that leaves a very similar situation to what we saw in game number 1. Leon is in the bottom, split pushing with the clones, with his auto attacks, and right now Maple Gaming's looking a little bit more on the back foot.
They are definitely on their back foot with that last death for them. However, it's a stronger late game team. I find Coco being a very strong character if she gets the farm, if she gets the time to be able to be strong with. And Leon on both teams, they effectively equate each other. If you got Leon on one end and you got the Leon on the other, they're going to be roughly the same power by the end of it. Bull coming in. The Bull's going to hit. Bainesy in a lot of trouble. Out comes the snipe, and Madface picking up a kill. Sniped in the head. So that's going to be another death. Something
that Maple Gaming is going to have to be aware of is that pressure with the Bull, with the Lone Star. He comes down into the middle of the map, and you're pushing up a tower. You have a small window, a very small window to dodge out that Bull, because that Bull's going to pin into the tower. They're all going to come in, and we've seen now 2 kills because of the power of that Lone Star. It's something that we're going to have to compensate here for Maple Gaming. That explode, not going to quite hit the mark. We did actually have a health pack ready to go there, so Madface picks that up, just turns right back around, snipes into the face there of Maple Mamba, and again, the pushing power is coming out strong.
Absolutely. And you were explaining the Lone Star with the Bull before, and I completely agree with you on that front. I think that's probably one of their strongest advantages, especially on this map. And it comes to Dynamite. The tongue coming out on Gristank. Gristank going to eat a lightning ball as well. He's cuckoo for Cocoa Balls, and but he's not going to end up going down because of it.
I am so using that in my next game.
I absolutely love that. Every time I play Clunk, that's the only thing that my Clunk likes to eat for breakfast in the morning.
Cocoa Balls, yeah, it's great.
They taste electric.
So something else to note here is that Maple Gaming, well, we do got this invis ready to go on top of this random, but there's no follow-up from the teammates here from Bainesy, so he's basically just going to waste this out. Again, big visual changes with the 2.8. You can actually see how long you have on the invis. No more wasted invises. Can I get a hallelujah in the chat? But Maple Gaming, they took one of their general slots and they put piggy banks in them, and they're the ones down on kills. They have that bigger power burst early, but they haven't been able to capitalize on it. That's going to hurt them late.
To be fair, the only one who has not picked up piggy bank so far is the Raylan. Out comes the explode. Maple Mamba getting the land on Gristank. Gristank just going to get his creeps, though, and he'll be right back up to practically full again. But as you were saying, they do have one character who doesn't have piggy bank, and it's Raylan. Raylan going for the full-on late-game build if she can possibly manage to make it happen. And she's going straight into snipe damage to boot. So she is definitely going for that assassin kind of burst build that her team desperately needs. Madface almost not, I thought would have got caught out there, but Maple Mamba not going for it. I guess didn't react quite fast enough. And he's invisible and looking for it, too.
Yeah, here we go. That actually, it was a really good setup there. That was a great tongue, but Mamba was just not there. Instead, now it's going to be the bullpen. It doesn't quite get the kill on either side. Baines is actually now going to be back in town as well, so the Coco support in the bottom lane just not there. This might be a tongue. Look at the tongue and the burst damage there coming out from Kvak, and it almost puts a 3-0, but instead it's going to be a 2-1 as Raylan apparently dropped top.
Yeah, that was a little weird. She died to droids. I didn't expect that, but it must have been lightning balled into the wave and then got smacked. Yeah. So lightning ball proving to be a very powerful tool, even without the Thunder Striker upgrade, which increases the knockback. Bainesy managing to pick up a very welcome kill for Maple Gaming.
It's a good infusion of solar, and that's what you need. So, we do have 5 of the 6 knots with that piggy banks, and, the builds between the Raylan and the Coco right now are actually very similar if you take them into account. Like, it's straight snipe damage versus straight ball damage, but we do, of course, have both base abilities on the Raylan, and once again, we really do advocate the use of both base abilities, at least, in the first few minutes of the game. Best 135 solar you'll spend. We do have this invis. Mamba could not land the snare. The ball didn't happen, and look at the return bull, Mr. Wolf. It just did work up against the hit points there of the Clunk.
It did. He took a lot of tower damage they didn't mean to take, and what was really key there was the placement of the time rift. Raylan landing a really well-placed one that forced the Clunk to actually not engage. So he had to try to run away, then ran into the bull by accident, and that caused him the entire fight to go south. Luckily, no one died for Team Maple, so Maple going to be able to just walk that off. No deaths for them, which is very good.
All right, so yeah, we see a little bit more transition going, lane to lane. We're just trying to make sure that these towers are not going to get pushed down here from Blue, but Blue does lose out their first one. That repeated pressure from the Lone Star after a few of those kills and a few of those trades has just proven too much for the tower to handle.
And that's kind of to be expected. Like you mentioned, that Lone Star putting up constant pressure, but so does the Leon. Kvak doing a really good job of split pushing and doing his best to wipe up waves on bottom. Clunk picking up the invis. He's been spotted out, so they know that he's invisible. They know what somebody is, and they can do process of elimination. Most people can. So they know who's invisible.
No,
they just don't know
him.
where. Oh, out comes the bite, though. Completely misses everything, and he might be in trouble, but tongue. Some damage, and he's just going to walk that off.
If you also notice, the red Leon there, Kvak, does have some big damage there, not only with the tongue, but those auto attacks from the party mask coming out of the invis, and it proved out really good right there. Maple Pass is actually going to drop. Bainsy could be in some big trouble if we do actually get off this combo, and the combo doesn't actually fully land, as Bainsy is still at the half health mark. But Kvak, I mean, he has 1150 solar, the richest not here, and you can see that those damage upgrades are really coming out strong.
Party Mask proving to be a very powerful tool in this game. It seems like Maple doesn't have a means of really dissuading the Leon from engaging. No Blaze yet.
Blaze, yes, Blaze. Right? Give me the Blaze.
I think that the Blaze in particular would be extremely helpful here just because of the slow. Slows are always bad whenever you're a Leon. If you're slowed, it's very bad news. But out comes the Explode. It's not going to end up hitting Gristank. Gristank going to pick up the health pack as well, so this is probably going to turn this fight around a great deal. Mamba going to have to run away from here, and Kvak just going to go back to split pushing down here. Bainsy going in for some damage as well, but seems like that's going to be that for now. So
I'm going to give props to Mamba because he's been really on top of the invis. He's had it repeatedly, but then I got to take away the props because he hasn't really landed the combos that they need him to. I mean, right now he is in a good situation to pick up something there, but he doesn't know that Kvak is there. He didn't land those bites again on top of the Lone Star. The bow comes out. The return damage from Madface, and now he's looking a little bit low. The tongue does come out on top of the Madface, but Past is actually the one in danger of dying. And again, the big difference in damage is starting to really show between these two teams.
Absolutely. That Party Mask and the tongue dealing a lot of damage as well. One interesting upgrade that's been picked up, actually two of them now. Lone Star picked up Blind on his Dynamite sticks. Blindamite is a good thing against the melee characters that Maple has. Between Coco and Leon, both of them are not huge fans of Blind. They need to see what's going on, and that Blind is a really good defensive tool if you use it appropriately.
He has the invis again.
Yeah, and he's got the invis again. So Mamba doing a really good job of staying on top of that timer. Out comes the Explode. It's not going to hit Madface, though. What's up with that? Mamba now getting bowled away from the rest of his team, but Kvak staying on top of him. Mamba's still getting away, and it seems like Dynamite comes out, the Blind comes out, and he ends up going down to the tongue. Kvak picking up another kill. 4-1 in favor of Serious B's knees.
And the turret went down at the end of all that. The droids were able to actually push it down. So we lost the safety net there for Maple Gaming, and that's why they had to kind of go back north into the jungle looking for those health creeps, and just didn't work at the end of it all.
No, unfortunately it did not. But we have a couple more upgrades coming out. We've got Tongue Stretcher coming out on Pasta here. So he was going for the Stretcher Tongue and then decided, you know what, let's go for more damage. So he's trying to follow up with what Kvak is doing, but he's going to be a good deal of solar behind him on that front. Trinamite coming out, going to hit both of the members of Maple who are defending this bottom tower. And Mamba maybe trying to come in from the back. He's looking for the angle. He wants to try to find it, but now maybe he's on the wrong end of things. He picks up the invis again, though. And
has anybody else gotten invis yet?
Nope.
I think it's just been him.
That's the one thing. Mamba has got that timer down like it is his life. He's not been letting go of that invis ever. That's just not a thing he wants to do.
But you can see, I mean, he's just going to use that to just get out some of those creeps. We see, once again, a big burst combo right there on top of the Go-Go. She goes down, and Mamba, he's just sitting there like, okay, well, can't exactly defend this, not when you're a man down. And again, the solar counts are starting to really show here to the Serious B's knees. They got the global from the turrets down. That could actually be a nice damaged Wombo there on top of the Lone Star, but instead he gets bowled out. He's just going to have to soak up those creeps. He's not pushing. He's not defending. He's just sitting there looking for something, but he does not have the damage to make this work.
I think the Clunk does have damage. His Explode is 750 now.
Damage.
But he doesn't have enough damage, but he's also not capitalizing on moments where he can find mistakes that they make and then make them pay for it. Bainsy now getting the Invis as well as Blaze at long last. So they know Bainsey's around here somewhere, and Bainsey, I think, was thinking about teleporting and then ended up oh, no, never mind. She did not cancel Invis. She's still Invis. Yep. I guess that's why she didn't die there. But Bainsey looking for an opportunity. Kvak knows that he bumped into something invisible, bowled him into the turret, but he's invisible, so nothing bad going to happen
The Bainsey ball into the clone, that was a big capitalization right there. Well played there from Kvak. And you know, that is going to be explode. Didn't exactly hit the Lone Star. Hit the Mad Face, though. We are missing some hit points. It's actually not looking good for Bainsey, believe it or not, after all of that. Mad Face doesn't actually have range on that snipe, so you can't really kind of go for any kind of big range shenanigans. But the body block summon in there for Mad Face is enough to clean up Maple Mamba, and Mad Face goes home with 2 bars to her name.
Another kill picked up by Kvak. Like, look at this burst.
Yeah.
Between all the tongue damage,
it's massive.
That's the entire story of this Leon on Leon fight right now. And we've got Pasta trying to keep up, but he's having a really tough time getting that solar. As you can see, he's approximately 600 solar behind Kvak right now, and that's the story between that particular matchup. This top tower going down for the red team. Serious Bees Knees picking up their 3rd tower of the game, and they're looking in a really good spot right now. Bainsey goes down to snipe.
Baines, like, just so far away from the team, trying to do the split push and, you know, tried to trade out the towers, I suppose, but at this point, we're still looking for that first point on the board here for Maple Gaming because they're down in solar, they're down in the map presence, they're clearly down in the kills as well, 7-1. And, you know, if you can't stop a Lone Star from pushing and Maple Pass is not going to be able to do it, it's just going to be a bad day for you. Look at that. A turret actually does take home Grizz Tank at the end of all that. And,
yeah.
That will be a little bit of infusion there into Maple Gaming, but still, they do not have those map presences that they need.
No, and I think that has a lot to do with how the Clunk is playing right now. It's just it's not working out super well for him right now.
Right here,
oh
red
yeah,
team.
that Lone Star buying up all the items as he's finally dead and able to shop. Picking up some pills, some bullet damage, and the slow on his bull. So now there's no escape. If you get bull pinned, that is it. That Lone Star is putting you exactly where he wants you to go.
What did Kvak pick up there? I see the swords, and yeah, anytime I see swords on a Leon, I shudder a little bit as a Coco main.
Well, if there's one thing that Leon can pick up now, and it makes a lot of sense, it's backstab. In this particular case, backstab is not only good for pushing, since it does extra damage to creeps.
Look at that burst. Oh, wow. Look at that burst.
Just goes down hardcore. Bainsey, just not enough HP to survive the Kvakian burn. Like, it's so painful to watch. Pasta going to take a snipe. And that's
doesn't
get
hit by the time rift, though, so that was a nice dodge there. You also now see the droid coming out of the time rift with the flying.
Yeah, she's had that for a little while, and it's a great way to push a lane very quickly. You toss out a time rift on top of a lane of droids, and the flying droid will help push it a lot faster. It's a great ability. It's one of her most powerful abilities, and I think that some people find it just don't value it. Yeah, a lot of people just don't value it. But.
Yeah, Bainsey in the back defending the core, Mamba in the front defending this last tower. Now, you guys, you don't have to actually go for these towers. If you get a team wipe, you can go immediately right to the core, win. It's not a prerequisite. Like, the core is vulnerable at this point. It just seems to be today that it is a day of towers.
It is a day of towers, but it's also a good idea to take out all the towers as Grizz Tank gets another kill on Mamba as he unfortunately gets picked off. Kvak doing all the damage yet again. But it is important to take out these towers because it gives you multiple avenues of escape, and on Iggy in particular, it also opens up this force field here in the middle, which allows for a lot more safety when assaulting it, backdooring it, or otherwise just being a nuisance. And I think that's the one thing that they want to do with Kvak is get to a point where no matter how things turn out, Kvak can be a nuisance. He can backdoor, he can go for the core. And that's really important, I find, especially when you got a Leon on your team, that you have to remember you can be that nuisance.
Late game Leons are just the absolute bane. You got no towers? Yeah, I'm in Viz. All right, see you later. And you know, at this point, it is going to be a really good candidate for Serious Bees Knees to take the win. They've not lost a turret. They're up 8 kills. They've just cleared out now the last one here from Maple Gaming. Pasta just basically loses half health immediately. And even the max ball damage there on top of Kvak doesn't really look that threatening coming out from Bainsey.
No, and if Pasta had that extra bit of burst damage, and now he's starting to get it, he's finally almost got it going on, he could actually have taken that kill. Mamba in a really weird place. I have no idea what he's doing here.
Took out top turret.
He took up the top turret. Okay, well, that's always good. Mamba getting off the bike, getting off the explode.
Why did he jump?
It didn't hit Kvak because Kvak just kind of dropped down.
Jump?
I don't know, but he ended up, he thought that Kvak was going to go up, and he did not end up going up. He went down, and the explode missed, and Kvak ended up surviving as a result.
Both went down, just more literal in one sense.
Very different definitions of down in this particular case. As this final rocket droid comes in to push in this bottom area and the core at long last, the Clunk is coming down on the drop pod, so he'll be here to defend, but the red team looking like they're in a very good spot. Serious Bees Knees looking to take this game and move on in the qualifiers.
It is something to note, though, that right now, Serious Bees Knees, this is, they've had multiple pushing rocket droids, the bigger ones there, and they've been supporting them. They just don't leave them there to kind of go out and do their thing. They have been pushing with them. They took out a lot of the turret damage this way, and again, they were able to push up here. It took a lot of the attention there from Maple Gaming. You saw the gank there on top of Mamba as well, the big damage coming in, and now it's basically free core damage because they were so caught up with that push from the droid that now they're just really down to their last wire.
They are right down to the very, very last of their wires. I do not, like the only way that this could turn around for them, and they could do it if they're very lucky, but they would have to lightning ball their team into an explode. That would take a monumental amount of luck. Bainsy going in, he's got an explode to back him up, but Kvak going in for the damage, and oh, that does cost him his life as Maple Pasta and Bainsy end up actually picking up a kill for Kvak's greed. The rest of Kvak's team not able to really support him as they back off to get some HP and live another day. A couple items getting picked up. We got the cooldown reduction on Bainsy. We also have the slow increase on Raylan, and we've got Boots and Explosion Bull on Lone Star. So the final push coming in, they're going in for the Bull to be able to harass and push around the opposing team so that way they can finally just get at the core and end this game before it gets any more risky with the late game potential that Maple has.
Well, we did get a few kills there from Maple Gaming, so they got a tower, they got some kills. That's going to be some good solar into their pocket, but the numbers don't lie in the top, and it's been all about this Leon so far. Kvak has just been absolutely everywhere getting the kills. He has 2,350 solar in his pocket. You can see the items bought. I mean, they clearly reflect his power. Maple Passage just has not really been able to put up the similar numbers, and even then, like, I've been looking at Bainsy. Sure, he's kind of getting there now, but whoa, those backstabs are really, really hurting on a powerhouse like Mamba, but the team synergy just doesn't really feel there. Serious Bees Knees, they've been together, they've done the split pushing, but they've been doing them at the appropriate time. So far, Maple Gaming, it's been highly dependent upon Mamba, who doesn't quite land the skill shots that he needs.
I think the other thing, that when you mentioned the team makeup, I think that that's a very important point here because we have a couple of very good split pushers on Serious Bees Knees. We got a Lone Star and we got a Leon, both of them able to push down creep waves fairly quickly and efficiently, and a Raylan to help out on top of that.
Yep.
The entirety of Maple's team makeup is based around being together and winning team fights. The best way to defeat that is to split them up, and that's exactly what Bees Knees has been doing, is splitting them up for the past little while.
Nice
Gris
ball.
taking another ball,
Yep.
and he's going to walk off and just heal up for now.
Yeah, he has to at this point. One more stray sneeze and he's going to be dead in the water. But 12-3 for the score at 20 minutes in. We're feeling very comfy here. Serious Bees Knees is still sieging out this core. Mamba's actually going to get tongued through, and that's going to be the Time Rift and the Snipe landing on top of Bainsy. You can see the damage output there is still absolutely massive. It's not a combo you want to get stuck into. But Kvak, he's nice and healthy, and he can go for some of these bigger bursts if he actually goes for the kill here on top of Mamba, and he will. It's going to be game over for Glunk.
Yeah, Party Mask gets a 600 damage tongue is definitely one of the more painful combos in the game. Bainsy now running for her life as she tries to find a way to get out of here. And yep,
Invis.
Takes up the Invis, so he'll be fine. But right back at the core, this is the story here. As with the Bull and the Rift, and it's just down to 3 bars. Yeah, it's likely over very, very, very soon here as this army of droids just wails on the core. Bainsy goes down, and the army of droids ends up taking the game. Serious Bees Knees taking it home and will advance in the qualifiers to the round of 64. Maple Gaming, unfortunately, not able to say the same.
Very cohesive play. They definitely stuck together when they needed to. They split push when they needed to. They put up a lot of map pressure. And ultimately, this is a game where you got to take out the core. There's no surrender function. You can kill people all day, but if you lose your core, you still lose. So, going for that feels a little bit more old school. I mean, we saw the Wombo potential, but more or less, it was the big story of pushing. And pushing at this point, just absolutely walked all over.
Yeah, the split push was able to take apart the team that Maple Gaming had put together. They had a good team synergy idea, but they just couldn't capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were, I think, a couple of interesting moments in terms of gameplay on Mamba's part that cost him, because there were a couple of opportunities that just kind of walked into his life, and he said, you know what, I don't want this opportunity. I think I'm going to back off. And that might have cost him a couple of kills. On top of that, not picking up Blaze till much later in the game against the Leon, that especially when you have a Leon on your team who can pull them into your Blaze, that would have been, I think, an extremely helpful way to start a fight. And when you've got Tongue Stretcher like that, you have to abuse his ability to initiate. And unfortunately, the pure burst out of Kvak just outdid what.
He did well.
Yeah, he
Did
did very well.
extremely well.
Pasta went for an initiator build, and it was not enough to beat out the burst because there wasn't the initiation into the follow up that Maple needed to make that happen. So next time, if they decide to pull that off, that's what I think they need to focus on.
And a lot of people do pick up Coco, and they focus on the ball damage, which is fine. I mean, it's clearly a core mechanic. She has a big ball that goes right through walls. You can't really avoid it unless you jump or you sidestep. And even then, if you're too slow, I mean, sometimes it's just going to hit you anyways. Like, really good placement of that stuff can go a long way. But there is something to be said for Blaze builds, especially like this. Had we had that extra slow, had we had the tongues into the slows, maybe more of Mamba's skill shots would have hit. Maybe we would have had more snare bites into explodes that actually would have hit the mark. And that might have been, a really good way to turn around.
I think that getting those kills definitely would have been a way to start their snowball, but they just, again, they weren't able to execute the way that they wanted to, and Team CSB's Knees did a really good job of taking their opponent's lineup and exploiting their biggest weakness, which is their being individual, and the builds really, it didn't work as a result.
No. I would have liked to see the not draft for that, but c'est la vie here for 128. So that means that we have now done the round of 128. It's all completed. It's done. It's all in the history. We are going to move on to the round of 64, and our next match will be coming up in just a few moments here. We're going to prep it all up. So when we do return, round of 64, still best of one, but we are here ready to go. So don't go anywhere.